ready to learn and experience the process of becoming a Medicare machine.
Good morning.
What's up?
How be you today?
Tired.
Oh.
Super tired. We don't care. We push through. We don't call you a machine for nothing. You just keep crushing apps anyways, right? So yeah, first of the month, most people are going, I'm glad the last of the month is over. Meanwhile, I'm outside knocking 7 apps down. Catch me if you can, because we're not even in AEP, and I'm putting up numbers that you won't put up in AEP. Just kidding. However, if you want to put up those kind of numbers, you should either be on our squad or you should be at our event, because here's what I'm going to tell you. I've been thinking deep and long and hard about this. I'm going to be scaling back the Medicare Machine Factory events massively next year. I believe I oversaturated the market, and all y'all think I'm just going to keep doing these all the time, and you can just skip which ones you want and show up to which ones you want. And so if you don't come to AAP Launch Con, you can pretty much count on not seeing another event from me until sometime next year. I'll probably only do 1 or 2 next year. So make sure that you show up to the events. Otherwise, you won't get training. So if you're not ready for AAP, which here's what I'll tell you, 99% of agents really aren't ready for AEP yet, and that's normal. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I'm just wondering, we're supposed to have Jalen jump on with us this morning. I don't know. Are you tuning in, Jalen? I have to try to find you on Facebook or something so I can send you the link to jump on if you would like to. Jalen. I don't see him on Facebook. I think it's Jalen Scott. Let me try that. Scott. Jalen Scott. This might be him. I think he's in New York. Let's do that. We're going to follow him and let's send him a message. Tell him I got the message, right? I won't let me send him a message. Oh, there it goes. So how are you, Tyler? How's life? How are things treating you?
Busy, but good.
Good. You seem and sound and look much happier.
Yeah, a little bit.
Much happier.
Getting through it. Trying to dial in the family stuff. We've got our family reunion this Saturday, so that's always a good time.
So if you're within 100 miles of West Valley, New York, put on a helmet.
Pretty much.
A helmet.
Way too many Tingus in one spot.
If you've never partied with Tingus, put on a helmet and a mouthpiece and strap in for a good time.
A good time.
So yeah, I'm really excited. I think the thing I'm most excited about is it's refreshing to me to go back to doing what I wanted. And I think for a lot of us, that's what we're chasing, no matter what industry you're in. But not very many industries offer you that freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want, within reason, right? We can't be outlandish. Unless your name's Tyler Tingu, then you think you can just do whatever you want, whenever you want, how you want. And I support that from afar. But yeah, so I'm really excited because, again, for me, I've been going back and forth to, I don't know if I call it midlife crisis, but I guess it's a midlife crisis. I feel like I needed a convertible for a little while. And then I started test driving convertibles and I realized, well, it's probably not the best kid car. There's like 2 inches for the back seat. Like, well, my kids are really small. They can cram their legs in there, right? I snapped out of it and I've gotten back to doing me. And it's been really fun, really refreshing. And I can't wait to see what happens because of it, because the team is getting better. The morale, I feel everybody's getting pumped up and excited for the AEP push. And in reality, that's what it is. It's a push. It's a marathon. You should start training for it now if you haven't already. What I mean by that is start waking up a little bit earlier each day, start going to bed a little bit later. Make sure that you're spending your evenings doing non-money making activities. So if that's when you organize your paperwork or clean up your calendar or whatever else, do that stuff when it's not normal crush hours. But yeah, I'm excited because I see a difference in you. I feel a difference in me, and I'm really excited to see where the rest of this year takes us for sure. And yeah, what are your thoughts?
No,
Fine Wednesday morning.
I'm excited about it. I opted to do my client appreciation lunches a little earlier than you, so I'm doing mine next week. So I'm excited to get out to Colorado, go see everybody, and do all of that. So,
What kind of attendance you got?
yeah, well, let me pull it up real quick. Tell you exactly. I have 111 people that are going to be attending the 4 different events that I'm doing.
There you go. So about 20, 30 piece. Good. You're good. So yeah, if you're out there and you have a client base, whether it's 2 clients or 200 clients or 2,000 clients, you should do client appreciation events. I don't care what kind of event you do. You can do a lunch, you can do a barbecue, you can do a party, you can do a food truck event, you can do a whole bunch of different stuff. And the premise is to show love and appreciation to your current clients and really encourage them to bring family and friends. So there's twofold positivity that comes out of that. Number one, you create a stronger bond with your client. Number two, you can create a stronger bond with your client's family. That's why I say, bring your kids, bring your grandkids, bring whoever. I don't care. If it costs me an extra $20 here and there for a couple more people to come to dinner or lunch or whatever, or a couple extra hot dogs if I'm doing a barbecue, whatever it is, quit looking at it as this cost. You got to look at the back end return of what that's going to bring to you and the value that has. Tyler, you're doing events at restaurants like I am, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So
we've got a couple at Golden Corrals. Glenwood Springs is a little bit of a challenge. I got a bunch of people up in the mountains out there, so trying to centralize there. That's going to be at a Village Inn, and then Hoo Ha down in Arvada.
It doesn't have to be something crazy, but you're not. These are your clients, so you're not held to limitations in some respects, and you want to show love. You want to make it fun. Don't, because I've had other agents who like make it like half celebration of their client and half like let's pitch them something. Don't pull out a projector and don't put up a freaking screen and don't be like, all right, exhibit A, and try to pitch them life insurance while you're telling them, I love you, but buy life insurance from me. That's totally the wrong message, and that's not what they're for. They're for retention, and retention means you're nurturing the relationship. How do you retain your wife? How do you retain your friend? How do you retain whoever relationships you have? You maintain those by maintaining them, by reaching out, by showing appreciation, by doing things. And that's really the whole premise. And it gets you in contact and gets you in front of mind of your clients at the perfect time for them to start funneling people to you. Who doesn't want a bunch of referrals? And again, if you want to do huge numbers in AEP, you have to do, in my opinion, you have to do one of 3 things. You either have to be a phone agent doing exclusively over the phone, where you can do a volume play across a bunch of states. And in reality, I'm curious on those to see how much sticks. And I'm not talking 3 months sticks. I'm talking like, I want to see how many of those stick for years. Because that's the power of doing this business correctly, is you have residual income because you have a relationship with somebody that you're taking care of. It's not where you just get free money for not doing anything. If you have that mindset, do me a favor and get out of the industry, because I don't like people like you. But client appreciation lunches, events, I did mine in June the last couple of years, and I moved mine to the first week and second week of September this year. And Tyler's doing his here in August. And it doesn't really matter when you do them. The key is how you capitalize on them. How you capitalize on them is you have them bring friends, etc. And then you have a questionnaire at the end. Kind of like a report card for yourself. But in there, you also offer them the opportunity to schedule their AEP review so that you can get that part out of the way. You can position for scheduling their family, friends, etc. for reviews. You can really encourage them and remind them why you're special, why you're unique, and what kind of unique proposition that you offer. What is the unique proposition that you're offering that your clients need to be reminded of? And I was sitting down with my staff the other day, and they think it's corny, and they roll their eyes in some way, shape, or form every time. But I drill into my staff, what are our 3 core values? What are our 3 core values? And anytime a client calls in and says, hey, can you help me find a doctor? We remind them of the core value. Hey, we treat you like family. We're there before, during, and after your coverage starts, and we exceed expectations. So, of course, I'll help you find a doctor. And by repeating our core values over and over and over and over and over and over, eventually what happens is the client now repeats those same core values to people when they're referring. And in essence, you're programming into the client how to refer people to you, what to say, because people can refer them to you. They can hand their business card to somebody, but what's going to motivate that person to call? A point of pain. A point of pain sometimes means missing out on pleasure. Fear of missing out is a real thing. And sometimes you can position the point of pain to be just simply missing out on the pleasure of having someone that treats you like family, that's before, during, and after the coverage starts, and exceeds expectations every step of the way. And they go, oh, wait a minute, I don't have that. Bingo. That's the point of pain that motivates them to say, I want that. What's up, Brian? How you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Holden's in the house, and then we have Facebook user. So I don't know who's the Facebook mystery user is, but we'll have to see. So if you, in order to be seen on for us, you have to go into StreamYard and register your name with Facebook so that we can see you. Anyways, so AEP planning starts now. AEP planning technically started back when AHIP launched. But it's not too late to start now. And the farther you wait, the less time you have to put a plan in action. And if you haven't already reserved a spot for the AAP Launch Con, it's going to be exactly what you need at the right timing to really put a plan together for yourself. It's Ron freaking Ray. That's even better. That's awesome. What's up, Ron? Hope you're doing awesome, brother. Good to see you. I always love Ron. He's one of the class acts of the industry for sure.
Absolutely.
And once again, anytime I see you, Ron, I try to say thank you for your service. I really appreciate you. That being said, AEP planning. What do I do? Everybody was like, what do you do? But really, all you do is you show some love to your clients now. Do your retention right now. Spend time doing retention now. It'll really lead to retention, leads to referrals. So service drives retention, which drives referrals. But it starts with service. Service starts with reaching out to people. Service starts with showing up randomly. So if, as an example, if I'm in an area and I know I have a buffer of time and I'm visiting a new client and I know 2 blocks away there's somebody else that I've helped before, I don't just go, oh, that's cool. I'm really close to Carol's house. I drive over to Carol's house, knock on the door and say, hey, I was just down the street helping someone else. So I thought I'd stop by and say hi. And that's it. The old school, like think back to when these people that you're helping, baby boomers that are aging in, when they were kids. Tyler, you remember when you were a kid? What'd you have to do to play with your friend?
Oh, that was always fun. Walk up the street.
That's it.
Knock
right.
on the
But for
door.
me, here's the challenge I had. I wake up at 5 a.m. like my whole life. And so I had to wait for everybody to wake up. And back then, like other kids' parents got pissed off if you called before like 10 a.m. And so I'd be sitting there. God damn it. Somebody please wake up. That's my childhood. Now you can just text somebody. You awake?
Dude, I can't remember how many times you had to like come around in the backyard, hop the fence, and go knock on my window. Like, hey, get up.
I need somebody to play with. Yeah. And so, again, show the love to your clients now. Reach out to them now. I'm here too.
Lori.
Oh, Lori Russell.
Lori Russell.
Lori the Russell rock star. The Lori. All right. Glory Lori. She's such a beam of positive energy wherever she goes. Except for when she gets screwed over by a bunch of clients in a row. She's been having a rough go lately. But we've all been there, AEP. So back to AEP, because for me, that's the best value I can give anybody right now is how you can position yourself, how you can plan properly, how you can really get into a position where you're not spending AEP focused on retention. There's so many agents that I see that they're like, oh, this is the perfect time to sneak in one more vacation. This is the perfect time to do one more trip or this or that. Fine, great. I get it. All of that good stuff. However, don't do that unless you have your full executable plan in place, ready to rock and roll out, rock and go. You got to make it where we can see everyone's comments. I don't know how to tell you that. You'd have to be part of the podcast, sir. I think that's the only way. Unless I just like shared my screen like some weirdo, or it's like some weird inner mirror thing. But anyways,
or you can be on Facebook and hit tap up to view the comments.
Yes, you could do that. It just depends on where. Most of them are on Facebook, so they're either on my stream. There's only three places it goes. Either it goes on the Medicare Machine Factory, on my personal page, onto the YouTube page, or onto LinkedIn. So it's one of those 4 areas. If you wanted to, you could have all 4 of them up and have it like it's super stereo, right? Echoing, all that good stuff. Anyways, so AEP planning. So what do I say to my clients when I call them? Number 1, I send out an email and a text message and other stuff first, because if I can use automation to get the touch point done, I'm going to use that. If I can't, I'm going to then do a reach out campaign. Depending on the size of book of business of clients that you have, you may have to have assistants to help you do this. Like for me, it requires my whole staff for me to make the whole run to invite people to the client appreciation. So this quarter's calls are all about how are you? Can we invite you to the client appreciation lunch? And can we schedule you for your AEP review? Because in a perfect world, before I get to October 1st, I have 90% of my current clients scheduled for a review, or they've like told me like in stone that I am not changing a thing. Like I'm not changing nothing. And here's the hack. I check anyway. So for all you clients out there that might be watching this later, even when you tell me you're going to stay and you're happy with what you got, I still check it all out because I don't want a phone call in January saying my prescription's not covered or my doctor doesn't work or whatever. And so you might be happy with what you have, and it might have worked really awesome this year. And that's what I say to people. It really might have been awesome. And I love that. I really like the fact that it was awesome for you. However, things change every year. It's a really good idea for us just to kick the tires, just to have a look under the hood and see what's available. And the reason I really encourage your clients to do that is if you don't, there's going to be this little tiny seed of doubt in their mind. Like, what if they see a weird commercial that's promising something? What if I tell every client, look, if something comes along that's you're supposed to know about, I'll tell you. But every single year, I get hundreds and hundreds of calls of people saying, hey, I saw this on Facebook. Hey, I got this in the mail. Hey, I saw this. Hey, I heard that. Hey, someone called me and told me this. And it's all this. There's some new thing that's you haven't heard about. Yeah, if you have a good broker, trust me, there is no good thing you haven't heard about. And so tell your clients that. Arm them with the ammunition of what it is that your competition is going to do. What are their commercials going to look and sound like? What are the phone calls going to sound like? What are they going to say? Who are they going to say they're with? What kind of patterns are they going to use? The more information you can give them to be prepared, the better. Any tips on that, T?
I'm just curious on how that's going to change. I mean, I get those same calls, same emails all the time. And it seems like every time I educate someone, something manipulates and changes. And with the new rules and regulations that they've got coming out where they have to, go through different disclaimers and they're supposed to be doing these different things, I'm kind of curious as to how that's going to affect the marketing tactics from a lot of the 800 call this and the mailers that are going out with having to have those mandatory disclaimers on there.
Yeah, they'll pivot and they'll figure something out. That's what good marketers do, because the markets change all the time for whatever market you're in, whatever marketing you're doing, and nothing works forever. So you eventually got to figure something out.
Yeah, so it's, paying attention to that. And one of the things I always ask my clients, I know you do the same thing, if they get something in the mail they have a question about, or they see something on Facebook, have them tag me in it or bring it in, send me a copy of it, take a picture of the screen with their phone and text it to me, whatever, so that I can see what it is. And that helps me to get the insight so that I can help educate them. And then I know what it is for the next guy who calls in and has that same question. Yeah. But yeah, the easiest way to overcome an objection is to kill it before it becomes one. So
take the bullet out of the gun. They can't shoot it at you, can they? I think. So yeah, the marketing stuff that goes around is the same stuff. And so here's the best tip you can give your client. Just read the fine print. Read the fine print. It'll tell you all those disclaimers. It'll tell you who's sending you the mail. If it's compliant, it'll tell you all that stuff. And with mail, because it's printed and all that, there's not a lot of people using like scam mail. Most of the scam stuff I see and hear about is on Facebook. Most of the scam and stuff I hear about is on phone calls, text messages, stuff that's harder to trace and track. And there's mail too, of course. But in reality, if you train your client properly, they'll refer you more people and they'll block people from calling them. That part of it's relatively simple. It's agents too easily get overwhelmed by AAP, wondering how they're going to find new. How am I going to find new people? And so again, the low-lying fruit in that scenario is your warm market. And warm market doesn't mean your friends and family. In the beginning, it does because it's all you got. But after that, any basic clients that you have, even if you have 100 clients, if you have 100 clients, there's no reason, if you do things correctly, you can't get 30 referrals. You could grow by 30% if you just ask the right questions and do a little bit of follow-up and give a little love to your current clients. And how you ask for referrals, very, very important. How you ask for referrals, very, very important. Don't just say, hey, if you know anybody who could use somebody like me, here's some cards, give them a card. Don't do that. That doesn't work. At best, they put the card in their pocket. Usually they're going to put it in the trash. That's not something that people do.
Anybody who really wants it, they're going to ask for it. I have a couple of clients that'll send me a message or call me every so often and say, hey, I need you to send me more cards. I'm out. I give them out to everybody.
Yeah.
And those are the ones where they're going to use it. They're going to hand it out to their friends. And like your lady who runs around Walmart and tackles people for you.
I have 3 or 4 of those. In fact, I ran into her cousin yesterday. It was one of the people on my appointment list. She goes, who sent me? She goes, oh, yeah, Kathy. She didn't even mention that it's her cousin. But so shout out to Kathy if you're watching. Kathy, you're awesome. But the point is how you ask for a referral. So this is how you ask for a referral. You explain to them, number one, what your mission is. Like, look, I'm on a mission to be one of the top agents in Columbus, Ohio, where the hell you are. Okay. I want to be one of the top. And so this year I have a goal to help blank number of people. But here's the problem. I'm under very, very strict rules on how I can do things. I can't call people without permission. I can't knock on doors. I can't just randomly bump into people at the grocery store and bug them. I literally, you tell them exactly how it works. You have to either call me, walk in the door of my office, or come to one of my events. That's it. Or you send back a postcard to me because I send postcards too. And I explain that to the client very directly. That's exactly how it works. So I rely on you. Point at them. I rely on you. Just like you rely on me. Point at you. I rely on you like you rely on me. And the way I rely on you is I try to, again, remind them what your core values are. And if you don't have core values, start there. Write your core values. I remind them, look, I treat you like family. I go do the right thing every time. I'm there before, during, and after your coverage starts, and I exceed expectations every step of the way. I need your help telling other people about why I'm different. I need your help telling your cousin, your aunt, your mom, whoever it is, what makes me unique. What makes me different than every other insurance agent, every other TV commercial, every other everything. And when you start to get other people to build the validation for you, even if it's you who's trained it into them, the other party who's receiving the back end of that, it's a very powerful, moving experience. Because what we've all learned over time is people don't refer unless they've had an over-the-top experience. People don't refer Super 8 level service. People refer Ritz-Carlton level service. So what are you doing to put yourself in position, and how are you asking for referrals is going to determine how many referrals you get. But if you have everybody understanding what your mission is, because everybody wants to get behind a mission, and if you have a sound mission of, again, helping people, if you don't think of this as helping people, then I don't know what you're doing something wrong. Someone trained you wrong. You have the wrong mindset. Something's missing there, because this is helping people. This is not the just sit around and collect money job. If that's how you treat it, then I hate you. And I'll tell that to your face too. You shouldn't treat people like that. You wouldn't do that to your own mom. If you do that to your own mom, I hate you even more. So the point is, how you treat your client matters, your core values matter, and how you ask for referrals matters. And if you don't do all those things correctly, just like anything else, if you do things with efficiency and correct, and you have practice it, you're professional at it, you're going to have more efficiency than someone who's a novice or an amateur who hasn't done anything. And so too many agents, and Tyler, I'm going to pick on you a little bit. You're one of those. I love you to death, but sometimes you get caught up so much in the planning of something that you never take a step.
Oh yeah, no, it gets ridiculous.
Stuck at the starting line, like, are they going to shoot the gun off? And I heard the gun. I don't care if it went off or not. Gone. I'm going. We're going. Let's go. Just go. And it's the activity and the action of going that creates the momentum, and the momentum is what makes it easier. But too much of us get stuck on the starting point where all the momentum's against us because we're at rest. And so you're going against all the friction at that point, which means you got to push through with the extra energy in the beginning. You sprint out of the gates and then get to your pace, right? And so there's nothing wrong with that if that's the way you operate. There's nothing wrong with Tyler because he has analysis paralysis. He's just got to get one, admit that he has it. Two, stop it from happening. It's the same conversation I was having with Dylan yesterday. Look, you have some bad habits. How you work bad habits out is you just do it. Tyler, you've known me my whole life. From age 4 till like age 30 something, I chewed my damn nails. And I'm talking like chew them down till they bleed, chew them.
Oh,
and
terrible.
To this now, they're all not chewed. How did I do that? Honestly, one day I just went, every time my hand went towards my mouth, I went, you don't do that. Just said that to myself. You don't do that. You don't chew on your nails. And I had to put myself in that position of pain to motivate myself to stop doing it. But it's the same thing. If you have a bad habit of not showing up on time, if you have a bad habit of forgetting shit, if you have a bad habit of overanalyzing, if you have a bad habit of whatever the bad habits are, just reprogram it backwards. You understand the habit got programmed in because you had a level of success and it produced a level of success for you. Whatever that was for you, it provided that. But you just got to reverse engineer it and step by step reprogram to the new desired outcome. Saying as an example. I still say it now and then, but I've virtually reprogrammed it out of my vernacular. I'm more comfortable with just leaving a silent pause than I am filling it with now. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference in your polishedness. And the seminar, I did my whole week of seminars last week, and it happens every time. Thursday and Friday, because I've done a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. By Thursday and Friday, I've done so many reps that week that those 2 seminars are always the ones that are off the chart best ones I have. And both of them had people stay afterwards and tell me that I was the best presenter trainer they've ever seen in their life. And this and this and that. And how does that happen? It comes because I've done 1,500 reps. I've created a repeat. It's in essence a script. I'm no different than the comedian that comes to town and does the same set of jokes all week, although they get better and better at them usually as they go into the final night, right? And so same thing with your Broadway play. It's not like that you get to see a different performance every night of the week. They're literally doing the same performance every night. Every night, same play, same performance. Same thing with seminars. Same thing with your appointment. Same thing with working a lead call. If you turn it into a performance for yourself and you make it more about engaging with the person, having a conversation, slowing down, you're not working a lead, you're talking to a human. So how do you get yourself in that position? And so it starts with, what questions do you ask? How do you talk to your client? How do you talk to people that aren't your client? And what mindset do you have? Do you assume that everybody's going to be your client someday? Or do you just assume that you're trying to find a way that you can't help somebody? That's what I see most agents do. Most agents try to find, they don't have an election period. They don't have this. They have too many health conditions. They have this. They just moved the area. There's a million different excuses of why you can't help somebody. But there's just as many excuses why you can.
Well, and I think that goes a lot into the AAP planning, where when you're finding a reason to help somebody, if I can't do it now, they don't have an election period. That's great. AAP is going to come up. I'm going to touch base with that person. I'm going to put them on the calendar, check in with them. When I have someone, a couple yesterday, he works for a company that gives ridiculous benefits. They pay like, I don't know, it's like $120 every 2 weeks for $2,000 max out of pocket for the family. I'm not going to beat that for them for Medicare, period. I don't care what plan I put them on. So that's great. He's still on my calendar to touch base with in middle of December. And then I'm going to follow up with him again in March or April. And I'll check in with him again around this time next year and keep doing that. And there's so many people where I have clients where doing that right thing for them 3, 5, 10 years down the road, they become client. Meanwhile, while I'm touching base and taking care of them and doing those same exact things for them, they're sending people to me because they know that experience, they have that expectation, and that's going to build that up. And then when you're taking care of their friends, they say, hey, this is still the guy that he said he was a year ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. Same thing with referral partnerships and community marketing. When you're persistent, consistent, and you're there showing up and providing value, that's where you're going to get that return. That's where you're going to get those referrals from non-clients that haven't worked with you, where it's a professional relationship that you might have developed. And that could just be something with a teller at the bank or the attendant at a gas station. It doesn't necessarily have to be some community event.
I agree. I think you'll know that you're really good at referrals when you start to get referrals from referrals.
Those are my favorite.
If you start to get referrals from referrals and you've gone into the second generation of the network marketing levels, if you will, that's when you really start to get the sauce, if you will, because that's where you start to feel the exponential values, because exponential growth is way better than addition. So most agents operate on addition. I want to do 5 applications a month or 10 applications a month or 40 applications a month versus I want to get 80 referrals a month. And I want those 80 referrals to lead to 240 referrals over the next 6 months. And you start thinking in the exponential game, and you have to think, how am I going to provide? Because it starts with the first one. How do I provide the first one with such an over-the-top, warm, welcoming, fun, energetic experience where that person leaves knowing that you have it. So it's about that presence. It's about that charisma. What is charisma? Charisma is the ability to read the vibrations of other people and then match it. That's it. So if somebody that has high energy, what do they want someone else to be? High energy. If you're low energy and you're talking to someone high energy, you just got to increase your pitch, increase your inflection, and talk a little faster. Increase the energy. Give high energy people energy. Give low energy people peace. Slow it down. Don't be in a rush. Have that Matthew McConaughey, hey, how you doing, buddy? Mentality. And slow things down to the personality of the person you're talking to. And it's not hard to figure that out. Just listen to the cues that you get. All of you are smart enough. You've learned over time because you study humans and you study humans' reactions to what you say or do or don't do or what other people do or don't do. And so most of us, and if you're not, you just need to be more aware, but you can pick up cues. Everybody leaves cues on how well the conversation's going. And the better you know somebody, the easier it is to read those cues. But you can also learn to read those cues with subtlety, even on the first interaction with somebody. And you do that by asking them test questions of, what do you think about the weather? What I mean by that is it's a small talk question. Someone like Tyler and I, who's a red, we're like, get out of here with your small talk. And you'll feel that energy. We'll go, the weather's fine. They'll give you that negative energy of going into what they don't feel, that you're not matching their vibe. You're not matching their energy. Like, don't go to small talk. Talk to me about something interesting. So, Tyler, what's your favorite way to talk to a red? I've learned my new favorite tactic.
To talk to a red?
Yeah, just get to break the ice.
Oh, I have no idea. I generally poke the bear.
I love your watch. I love your shoes. I love your whatever the red's showing off that day. Just say, hey, I love that thing. Oh, yeah, of course you do, because that's why I wore it. And you have that subtle switch. If I'm talking to a green, my favorite thing to do is talk about the weather. Greens love the weather. They love to analyze that shit. They think they can figure it out. Or the stock market, anything where people like to analyze stuff. I love to throw that stuff at greens. Stock market. How do you feel about? I just lost my train of thought. get me back on track.
Greens, addressing greens.
Oh, addressing greens. Addressing greens. I usually just look them in the eye and go, you know, I get a sense from you that you are not a procrastinator, that you really just like to plan stuff out. Oh, yeah. And you feed into that energy. Yellows, talk about puppies or kittens or kids or anything with the soft side of life. And again, we're using colors. You can call it whatever you want. Tyler and I have been through the training with Nate and SWAT. I don't know how many times I can endorse that freaking training. Yeah, it's such a good training that Tyler and I signed up that during AEP, we're going to go down in the middle of AEP and do some training. So watch out. We're gonna be leveling up in the middle of AEP this year. So point being, how you talk to people matters. How you present yourself matters. Again, yeah, Brian, I agree. Persistency and consistency. Persistency and consistency is easy when you're authentically you. And it's not easy when you're not authentically you. So for me, I struggle with that because authentically me at rest, I'm an introvert. I'm quiet. I'm passive. Everybody says, why don't you say anything? Because I'm just listening and watching. And I don't like being around a bunch of people, period. There's no substitute for that. I've never been comfortable with it. I just am not. But I can fake it when I put on my uniform and I take on that mindset and I take on that persona. And so now I'm in the mindset. But there has to be a layer of authenticity under the actor. Can't wait to go and med to the SWAT. Yes, SWAT. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. Can't say enough good things about SWAT. So if you're in any kind of industry at all, or if you're a parent, or if you have any relationships with anybody at all, SWAT would be a good thing for you.
I don't think there's anybody anywhere unless you're a hermit living in the mountains and Grizzly Adams that'll help everyone.
Speaking of can't miss conferences, did you know the AEP Launch Con is this month? It is on the 25th and 26th. That is a little over 3 weeks from now. Now is the time to buy your ticket. Now is the time to get your hotel booked. Now is the time to get your plane trip booked. Trust me, I'll make this investment. You're going to spend more getting there than you're going to give to be at the event. This isn't a money-making activity for Misty and I. Medicare Misty and I are trying to put this together to help agents. We both have a passion for helping agents. The average upline FMO just does a rollout meeting. Come to the golf. Let's go to golf. What is it? Golf now? What is the Top Golf? Come to Top Golf. And we'll do some presentations from the carrier reps, and they'll tell you what the benefits for next year's plans are going to be. That'll help you have the best AEP ever. Yay, go us. We're a great FMO. We do a rollout meeting. Yeah, how about you give some real training? How about you give some real content? How about you give somebody a real plan to follow? How about you tell them, this is what you do. This is how you do it. Instead of just saying, here's the plans, now get out there and sell some. So if you want to show up to an event that has that, then go to your carrier rollouts. And honestly, if it were me, I would go to the individual carrier rollouts rather than one central FMO rollout, because you're going to get the abridged version. You're going to get the watered down version at your FMO rollout, and you're going to get the full Monty version at the carrier rollout. And you get FaceTime with the carrier reps, who are probably going to do more to help you than your upline is in many instances.
Big time. So
a lot of people have this shit backwards. And it's okay. I don't care whose feathers I ruffle. If you're a shitty FMO, stop being a shitty FMO. I won't talk about you. Just wait until I start naming names. I'm just kidding. I won't name names because they're all pretty much the same, with a few exceptions. That's what I've learned. You have to find your partner, and so all uplines are the same. You just have to find the one they have chemistry with, and the one that sees value in you. It's just like every other relationship you have. There's some people you see value in. There's some people you don't see value in. There's some people that see value in you, and there's some people that don't see value in you. You just got to find that relationship that makes sense for you. But moving sucks, right, Tyler? Let's say that every day of my life until I die. I think moving contracts sucks ass. I don't care who says what. No one makes it easy. It's always a pain. It always drags on, but it's worth it sometimes. now is the wrong time. But even if you're pissed off, now is the wrong time. You don't want to do the. It's a first quarter activity if you're going to do it. We're not talking about that. We're talking about AEP. We're talking about crushing it. We're talking about putting together a plan. So how do you put together a plan? First, you hit your current book of business to kind of get as many referrals as possible. My goal is to get half. So in a perfect world for me, I should get 1,000 referrals this year and be overwhelmed. It probably won't happen. But again, you have to set a goal higher than what you think you can achieve. That way you're shooting higher and you get more.
I mean, if you don't plan for it and you're not putting in the effort and the reps, you're going to sit there and not hit it. I'd rather sit down and have extra time on my schedule to where, oh, okay, well, I guess I have half an hour. I can go outside and play with the kids and have that dead time, so to speak, where something didn't happen and I was planning on it happening, then have something fall into my lap and not have time to take care of it.
Yep. 100%. So set your goal first. Rule 1, set your goal. And don't let somebody else set your goal. Even if you're on my team and you're watching this, don't let me set your goal. Don't feel pressure to go, 200. If you know in your mind, there's no fucking way I can do 200. And all of us know, just like there's no fucking way I can bench press 200 pounds. Even if you told me I was going to get shot in the head if I didn't, I would just die. I'd take it. Okay. So you have to know your limitations. If you know you can't do 200 abs, don't say my goal is 200 abs. If you did 50 abs the last 3 years in a row, your goal, your reasonable goal should be 100, double, and your target should be 75. Like in your mind, I'll accept 75, but my goal is 100. So that way you're shooting for that zone. The reason you need to do that is setting your goal first allows you to set your schedule. Like for me this year, I just got a text message last night from James that he's planning a trip for I think it was some fish spawn. I don't even know what he said. I just like, I'm in, whatever it is. I'm going to do it. Granby or Blue Mesa or Flaming Gorge. A fall lake trout spawn trip. So most years, Tyler, what would I have said?
No.
That's middle. He said, I was looking like October 5th to 8th or October 19th to 22nd.
This is James?
Yeah, that's James asking. And so, for me, normally I would, in my mind, this is how I break it down. I'd be like, man, that's like 15, I'll call it 12 apps a day and I'm missing 4 days. So that'll cost me 50 apps. I know. I apologize for those of you out there that are trying to do 50 apps total for AAP, but for me, that's a good weekend, a good 4-day weekend, and I can do 50. And so for me, I have to do the math on that. Is it worth it? But to me, I'm done I don't put a price on it anymore. For me, my time's more valuable. How many more times am I going to get to hang out with my brother, who I haven't seen for like 5 years because I've been so busy grinding, right? And so you get to make those choices. But if you're new and this is your first AAP, your second AAP, your third AAP, and you haven't made it yet and all those, you're going to have to make some sacrifices instead of choices. Those are the difference. I get to make choices. I used to have to make sacrifices where I have to say no to all that stuff. I have to not do anything on the weekends when like the last 2 APs. You don't think I noticed, you other agents out there, that on Saturday and Sunday, you're posting pictures at the college football game or the NFL game on Sunday and all that other shit? You don't think that was fuel for me going, you dumbasses, I'm in here. I just wrote 12 apps while you were out there drinking beer. So in my mind, but my goal was to be the top agent in the country if I could. And so that's what fed me. That's what pushed my fuel, my fire. This year, I'm not motivated. I've set, I'm trying not to be arrogant. This is not an arrogant thing. I've set a modest goal of 400. I think this is going to be a down year because there's more regulation. The 48-hour scope rule is going to affect production some levels. And I don't have a desire. For me, 400 is perfect. Even if I don't hit 400, I'm still going to be happy. Whatever I hit, I'm happy. But on some level, I've gotten used to relying on the revenue that comes from busting my ass like that. And so busting your ass, busting your butt is what it takes to get that momentum. Again, I'm talking about get that momentum from square one, starting from no momentum to getting momentum. You've got to go really hard for a long time. And that first year or two, or sometimes 3, are going to suck on some level. You're not going to have enough money. You're going to have a bunch of stress. You're never going to feel like things are going the way they're supposed to go. You're going to feel like you're never getting momentum. You're going to look at other people who are crushing. You're going to go, why am I not there? You're going to have all those comparison killers of success that you can have. And that's a big part of AEP prep, is the mindset part. And so for me this year, honestly, I don't care, because last year I tried to prove a point and I took 10 days off, but I took 10 scared days off, where it was like I took 10 days off, but it was like sitting at home where if an app flew my way, I could catch it. Like, hold on, Paige, stay on the jungle gym. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to run inside and help this person real quick, right? But if I go to the Flaming Gorge, there's probably no cell. And I already know on Blue Mesa, there's not really good cell service. On Granby,
not enough to write an app, that's for sure.
Right. And James and Matthew would probably punch me if I started writing apps while we're supposed to fish. Can you guys be quiet over there? You're HIPAA violating right now. Shh. Right. So again, set your goal and then set your schedule. If there's some people that don't want to make a sacrifice, like I'm not working on Sundays. I respect that. I am not working on the weekends. I respect that.
This year I'm going back to that for me. I'm not going to do Sundays unless it's absolutely mandatory.
Perfect.
This year.
And I you know what? High five from afar, brother, because that's what you're supposed to do. But you couldn't afford to do that 3 years ago, right? And so that's the poor point. Don't try to copy someone who's either ahead or behind you in the progression. Find someone that go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, well, that's exactly where I was going with that. You and I both. I mean, like with you being able to relax, take time off, saying all those things. When we're going through that, if you didn't write a single app during AEP other than just retain your current book of business and keep that exact same number, are you going to be in a place where you're not going to be able to afford your house payment and the lifestyle that you've gotten used to while still taking care of people and doing that?
Yeah. Because I'm a really good spender, Tyler. I just bought 2 new
Okay, I'm sorry. I know your wife well enough to know that she's not going to let you like keep going and growing because you go outgrow what you're at.
But here's my answer to you is yes. I could not write one application all AEP, and technically I'd probably take a year or 2 off, and my income probably wouldn't change too much. I'd have to scale back my staff because obviously if I'm not on this massive growth path, I don't need all these extra people, and so I'd have to make some adjustments, let some people go, which is part of what. For me, I don't want to do that. I'm proud of the fact that I'm one of the people in America that provides a job for other people rather than begs for one. Like I'm out there, I get to choose the terms. I get to treat people like they're supposed to be treated. I get to pay them more. Like for me, I try to give people that crushing it. I try to give them a raise once a quarter or at least once every 6 months. And randomly, I don't like this bullshit of, oh, you've only been here 90 days, so we got to wait till you're here for a year before you can talk about it. And it goes back to my boss, the last boss I had, where my first year I busted my butt. I mean, I'm talking busting my butt as a secretary for $14 an hour. I don't know how much money I made those people, but it was a bunch. And I sat down. All I was asking for was $1 an hour. And now that I know the math, because I didn't ever play the math back then. For me, it was all about getting to the number. I want $15 an hour. I want $16 an hour. Because when I was a kid, my dad always talked about how much per hour he was making. Because he was programmed and brainwashed into thinking that we have to trade our time for money. So I was in that missed mindset where now I don't trade my time for money. Now I train my skills, my knowledge, my expertise, and the experience I provide. That's what I trade for money. And it's a much different equation. So yeah, AEP for me now, I'm not under pressure. I have nothing to prove to anybody. So sorry, the days of you competing with me to try to have an AEP contest are over. I'm gonna be going at my pace, and it'll probably kick most of your butts. But those of you at the top of the food chain, like Dalton and a few others that I know that are going to be just crushing it again, high five, Holden. You should be one of those. If Holden doesn't do 250 apps like he said he's going to do this year, then I'm going to make him do 250,000 push-ups.
I think we should just like drive out to Missouri and make him do the push-ups with us sitting on his back.
Yeah. I like that. Let's do some kind of event like that. But yeah, so the the mentality part of it is probably the most important thing. You hear that all the time. You hear people talking about mentality, this and that, but it is because everybody can have discipline when things are going good. Everybody can have grind, hustle, and execution when things are crushing and everything's going well and things are going where they're supposed to go. But very few have that mental fortitude, that desire, that I don't know what to call it, but some people just have it when it comes to pursuing the target. Holden has it. Tyler has it. Lori has it. Orlando has it. There's very few people on our team who don't have it. It's just probably half the people on my team don't know they have it yet. And that's part of the problem too, is if you don't have the confidence to come and I'll give Coach Burke credit because he says all the time, confidence comes from having predictable positive results in the past. So if you've had success in the past, that's where the confidence comes from. Or it comes from what? The mindset and belief that you're going to make it happen. Because sometimes you don't have it. You just have to fake it. Right. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead, Ty.
I was just say that translates to all parts of life. I was actually going to give a shout out to Azia. Yesterday, she rode with me up to take Matthew to go to the dentist and stuff. And then she hung out with him at the football game because I had to come back to the house or at the practice. So I had to come back and finish up some stuff. And, she gets in the car and I could tell she was down and sat there and talking to her. She broke up with her boyfriend that she's been with for 6 months now. But I was really happy as a father to see that. And she's like, you taught me to be better than that. And I'm more worthwhile than what he's giving me credit for. Yeah. He's calling me, but he just props up the phone and he's sitting there talking to his boys on his game. Yeah. I'm listening. Like, don't even bother calling me. You're not worth my time. And being able to have that confidence and that security to have that knowledge and understanding in it at 16, like, that's going to translate to everything. I mean, I'm talking about my daughter breaking up with her boyfriend. I mean, but when you have that mindset, she can pivot from that to, I'm going to be the best damn big sister I can be right now and help my dad out and take care of my little brother while he's at football practice. Like, I mean, she made that pivot, heartbroken to be able to do that. I mean, if you can apply that in your personal life like that, the translation into business is exponentially larger.
100%. Yeah. The tenacity of pain. Like, pain's a big motivator, isn't it? It really does motivate you to do big stuff, which is why you got to control the pain. You got to control what you find painful. For a long time, for me, it was embarrassment. But now I'm old and fat, and I don't give a shit. I don't really get embarrassed all that much anymore. So embarrassment doesn't work for anymore. And so I had to find a new point of pain. And my new point of pain is let my daughter down, let my son down, let my wife down, letting the people that are looking up to me. And there's a weird thing, and I don't remember what video I was watching this morning, but in today's society, most people, including women and children, would rather see a man die on his white horse than admit weakness. So, it's one of those things that I try to embody that. And I think that's a good thing. I would rather die on my white horse than give up. I would rather die on my white horse than go backwards on my values and my morals and my beliefs, because I've done that before. I have given back and given up on morals and beliefs and other things in the face of pressure from either intimidating people or groups of people or other things, where today, like I said, I'm old and fat. I don't give a crap. And call it what you want. But that, for me, that's peace. The older I get, the more peace I get, because I accept who I am. I accept who you are. And the reality is, our job is to find the people that we can help, because how many clients do you need as a Medicare agent? It depends on what your number is, but not that many. You don't really need that many to have value, to have worth, and to have a decent living. And when you look at it from the right position, if you're looking to get the top 1%, it doesn't happen casually. It happens because that's a goal of yours. The only people that end up in the top 1% are the people that have that goal. Because otherwise, most people just look at the sacrifices that have to be made and they're like, that's not worth it. And for some people, it's not. But then you get to see the other side of the coin. I can tell you it is worth it. I can tell you it's absolutely worth it, as long as you don't lose sight of yourself and you don't lose sight of the authenticity that made you. Like I said, that's where, for me, Tyler, right now, I'm in such a peaceful place because I'm not trying to build this mega agency with 10,000 agents. I'm completely content with 30 to 50 people that I really care about, that I really want to help change their life, financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of the. I want to be a catalyst in a ripple effect, because life's too short for me, and so I'm not going to spend this long crusade trying to build this mega agency that's not me. Because the end, if in my mind, the only reason to build a mega agency is because you want to exit. I don't want to exit. I would really, I don't think it's going to happen, because I think at some point politicians are going to screw this thing up. But I would like to ride this wave forever. It's such a rewarding thing to work with our team, to work with my clients. Like yesterday, I mean, I drove all over the damn state. I didn't realize how far Cascade was, but I drove all the way to. I was like, oh, that's right by it. So I did one in Colorado Springs, then I did one in Cascade. Well, I didn't realize that I was driving another hour in the wrong direction away from my house for the second appointment. So if I was smart, I would have gone to Cascade, then come back to Colorado Springs, then come home. But instead, I went to Colorado Springs to Cascade and then all the way back. But that being said, the people that were in Cascade, you know what they said? They said, we would have done this. We would have done this over the phone. And I said, I know that, because I had already helped her husband. And so now she's aging in later. And Dave was like, well, it's good to meet you. And I was like, that's why I'm here. And I used the same thing. I used my core value. I said, if my mom and dad lived in Cascade, I wouldn't tell them we're going to do this over the phone. And since I treat you like family, that's one of my core values. That's why I'm here. Now, next time or next year, if you're okay with doing this over the phone, then perfect. But if not, that's why. And so again, circle back around, because we're out of time. 3 core values. You should have 3 core values. If you don't, start there. Write your core values. So you can start telling your people what your core values are.
Have a great day, Brian.
Yeah, Brian, have a good one, brother. So AEP's coming. If you haven't bought your Launch Con ticket, don't make me come over there, right? Don't make Tyler and I'll send Tyler. I'll send Nikki over, okay? He's got a bat. He's going to go after your knees. You know what I'm saying? All right. So anyways, come to AAP Launch Con. If you're not going to come to Launch Con, then definitely do the virtual Crush AAP Bootcamp. But the difference is 2 days of training versus 4 hours of training. Which one do you think is going to give you more value? Now, I get all the variables, and so whatever one you do is whatever one you do. Be on one of them. If it's not mine, go to Justin's. If it's not Justin's, go to somebody's. But don't just rely on the carrier reps, and don't just rely on your FMO rollout meetings to give you the proper stuff that you need to get an AEP plan in place, because they don't do those things. Those events aren't designed to help you put together an AEP plan. Those are just designed to help you understand what's available. So they're literally just telling you what plans are available, what the changes and benefits are. They don't give you any
event versus a recon event.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's great to get the recon and the intel, but if you don't have a tactical plan in place to go out and execute, you might as well send a bunch of ducks out when you should be sending in Navy SEALs.
Right. Right. All right, brother. I am Joshua Young's American Machine. He is TNT, Tyler Tingu, the bomb diggity. And we are the Top 1% podcast. We will see you next week. Have a great day.